Welcome to MotorLand, a podcast driven by AAA. Hello, hello, take me anywhere. We're bringing you behind-the-scenes stories from some of America's great road trip destinations. I'm Jared Dienda, the voice of motorsports and auto events all around the world, and your wheelman here in MotorLand.
And I'm Michelle Donati from AAA. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride, knowing we've got your back should anything happen along the road, whether you're the driver or the passenger.
All right, Michelle, this episode I think is going to be a great one. I'm excited to talk to this gentleman who changed history. Joe Maddon is on the podcast today. Wrigley Field is where he held court. He won the first title in 108 years for the Chicago Cubs. Most recently, he managed several seasons in Anaheim for the Angels. He's a huge figure.
This is a fascinating guest, and he spends a lot of time on the road, both for work and for fun. So I'm sure he's going to have some great stories to share. I'm
really looking forward to this one. Let's buckle up and ride. First, let's make sure everybody knows about your book. This title is So You. It's called, quote unquote, The Book of Joe, Trying Not to Suck at Baseball and Life. Asking you to summarize a whole book in about a minute is completely unfair. But Joe, if you could summarize your book in about a minute.
It's really about speaking your own truth all the time, who you are. Otherwise, you're not going to be good at anything. If you have to constantly try to contrive the moment and think, what should I do next? The authenticity does not exist. So if you could speak one true sentence, you'd be all right.
Yeah, let's be honest. This isn't a sports podcast. So I'm not going to ask you, who's going to be in the series this fall. We talk about travel and all these things. Lots of people have it on their bucket list to visit every single major league park. In your opinion, sir, I will ask you though, which ballpark cannot be missed?
Wrigley. Wrigley cannot be missed. Yeah.
When I went to Wrigley Field, I walked up the stairs and saw that ivy wall and I cried.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, dude.
It's powerful. It really is the major leagues of the major leagues, I think, to be a Cub. When I was with the Rays, that was the first time I ever got to see Wrigley. So we're playing there in 2014. And I've only ridden my bike around Wrigley Field. It's the north side. So our hotel's downtown Chicago. So I jumped on the lakeshore there. There's a great bike trail. So I rode up there, rode around the ballpark years ago, right? But then we get to play there. The bus shows up and it's driving through these neighborhoods. I'm saying, come on. You get out, you walk in, you go right, weirdly, it's like the catacombs and stuff. It's a weird venture to get to the clubhouse. And I'm saying to myself, I know I've seen this on TV. I know what it's supposed to look like. I know, but it was completely different in all the best ways. And then it's noted for its wind. I don't know how many balls were crushed that did not go out because the wind was blowing in so hard. I got 5 wonderful years there. That truly is a magical, best Major League Baseball experience right there.
For the Cub fans, what should they do around Wrigley after the game?
I had our place. We had Maddon's post right there in left field, which had to be disbanded after I left, which was sad.
Oh.
Had a Italian-Polish fare, James Beard Award-winning chef from The Girl and the Goat. Oh, my God. I'll stop because I'm going to start crying. Murphy's is cool, too. Murphy's is very cool. There's so many places just to hang out there. There's also the rooftops across the street.
Yeah.
You get in on a rooftop, you get to sit on the roof, watch the game.
Oh, yeah, it's really nice.
Down the left field line, they created a little park there in the wintertime. I know there's ice skating there. It's like you got to get there. You got to get there early and just try to hole up somewhere because I don't care what the record is. I don't care what the date is. I don't care if it's a makeup game. We played a makeup game on a Monday against Cleveland at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. 40,000 people, whatever it was in the ballpark.
Wow.
That doesn't happen on a Monday at 1 o'clock.
Yep.
So it's just special. And also there's a fire station right outside the left field fence. And until we won the World Series, I was not permitted in.
Really?
No manager was permitted to walk into that place until they told me that when I first got there. And I just giggled. And now I'm welcome in there anytime.
2016, baby.
I'm welcome in there anytime.
Aside from Wrigley, what are other favorite major league cities other than the ones that you've managed, of course?
Fenway's wonderful. And when I was a kid growing up, the one place I wanted to see was Fenway, primarily because I wanted to see what was behind the green monster. When those home runs are hit, it goes over the net, lands in the street. Where's this thing landing? So the first time I got up there with the Angels in 94, I got up real early that morning. It was a day off. I was out in a rainstorm. I went to BC, Harvard Yard, everywhere. But eventually, I made it back down to Fenway, and I wanted to walk down that street. And that is like, if there's a romantic part about that whole place, it would be that. So anybody goes to Fenway, make sure you get to walk behind the green monster at night with the lights shining into the ballpark. And to me, that transcends time.
Ah,
Like the cities that I love, I mean, I love Seattle. Seattle, I could live in. I could live in San Francisco. And the one secretly that I really dig is Pittsburgh.
I love Pittsburgh.
Yeah, PNC Ballpark right on the river there with the cityscape behind it. Also, my bike trail. I ride my bike down there past the Heinz ketchup plant.
Oh,
So I bring my bike on the road. You go over the bridge instead of making a left to the ballpark, right? Go down this little path, and eventually you come out in front of Heinz. How cool is that? I love Pittsburgh, and I don't know if that's my Pennsylvania roots speaking or not. I did live for a while in Salinas, California, when I played out there, which is near Monterey and Carmel. Just beautiful landscape. So I've been fortunate, been in every major league city, worked in every major league city, got around with the different restaurants, rode my bike around. Even at one point, I rode my bike in San Francisco down Market, Barcadero, up
Holy cow.
to the Golden Gate. And I went halfway in the Golden Gate, just stood there and just peered out at Alcatraz, right? I mean, wow. I'm thinking to myself, wow. And by the way, that's a really steep ride. You don't think so until you actually do it. So I've been very lucky, and I've really enjoyed it.
You talk about outdoor activities and you romanticize these cities. You talk about being on a bike. Do you encourage your players, and do you stress getting out there, maybe fishing, cycling? You're kind of one with nature. You're a bit more granola than you are, hardcore.
Yeah, I'm a little bit red wine. Baseball is loaded with outdoor enthusiasts in general, a lot of country boys. And then, of course, you got the Latino component, all my socios from Latin America. So I got this great range of people and diverse people to draw from. And that's been like one of the most interesting parts about all this for me. And then you could talk about Shohei Ohtani or Yu Darvish from Japan. I've had dudes from everywhere, and these guys are great, and they've taught me a lot.
Michelle, I know you're in Arizona. Joe spends a lot of time in Arizona. He's got his family there and all that.
Yeah. So spring training is big.
Sure.
So if you're spending time in Arizona, if you're bringing someone here for the first time, what do you tell them they need to do while they're here? What's number one on your list?
Go see a spring training game. I mean, it's a great take in. It's a much more relaxed atmosphere. Players are more apt to engage in verbal exchange with the fans, or sign autographs. And all the different ballparks create a different vibe, like with the Cubs, Sloan, and like the new talking stick with the Diamondbacks and the Rockies is fantastic. And even the Angels with the Buttes, the mountains are in the back. These like little butte mountains in the back. So I definitely would take something like that in. And of course, for the golfers of the world, there's tremendous golf courses. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day that was looking for something to do, and they went to Frank Lloyd Wright.
Oh, yes.
The Frank Lloyd Wright architecture. Yeah, and we're totally blown away by the whole thing. It was that cool. If you're into hiking, there's Camelback Mountain. If you're into chasing wild horses, my daughter Sarah goes out to Superstition Mountains and photographs wild horses. Restaurants, Scottsdale, Fifth Avenue in Scottsdale, just to walk around. You're going back, 1950s, 60s, a lot of turquoise, a lot of great restaurants, really good restaurants. Ocean 44, Mastro's, City Hall. I just went to Taco Madera the other night. I'm going to drop some names on you. I went there. Theo Epstein and I went out. We haven't seen each other for a while, but my boy Eddie Vedder was there. Eddie and I sat together, caught up. We sat there at Sam Kennedy from the Red Sox and just laughed all night.
Yeah.
And then you could go up to Sedona, man. Sedona is gorgeous. The rocks up there, the formations. All of this area is different. You can go from desert to skiing in the same day. I love Flagstaff. There's so much to be seen here.
Man, Joe's on the Arizona tourism board now, just shopping it.
I can be. I'm looking for another job if they're listening.
I love the experience and your romanticizing of different cities. For those unseasoned travelers, you being a seasoned traveler, any tips on how to travel smoothly?
Wow. Don't be in a hurry. That's the thing. I think we all try to pack so many things into 6, 7, 8, 9 days, whatever. We want to see so many things that you don't get to see anything. And so you're always in a rush to get to the next place or whatever. If you could just a lot more time, not make your schedule so thick with things to do on a daily basis, permit yourself to absorb all this stuff. Don't be in a, we just as human beings have a tendency to want to be in a hurry. I'm just guilty. So I would be number one, I would absolutely do, and just get off the beaten path a little bit. The road less traveled by, you're going to find some really interesting things. and have that spirit of adventure and exploration, I would really encourage people, slow it down, enjoy every moment.
It felt like you were talking to me because my vacations are planned down to the minute. And that is something that the next time I plan a vacation, I'm going to think of you, Joe, and I'm going to slow it down.
Appreciate it.
Obviously, MotorLand is not just about the cars, it's the experience, it's all these things. But I do have to ask you, I know you have a really awesome car collection. You have so many random, obscure cars that really do embody your personality. But can you rattle some off, and what's your favorite car?
Yeah. The most immediate thing on the list would be just to drive my van, because in 1976, my first spring training with the Angels, I was staying with my relatives in Long Beach in El Dorado Park Estate, Aunt Ted and Uncle Rick. And a fellow that I just made friends with, Doug Slavette, was a member of the Angels, Sluggo would come pick me up to go to practice 3 days a week at Cal State Fullerton in his 1976 Dodge van. So I have scoured the country. About 10 or so years ago that I found this van, the 76 Dodge van, which it's labeled, it has on the back in beautiful script, the Cal State Fullerton. And it means so much to me.
Road trips. All right. One more. What's the first song you're playing when you get in that van?
Well, it has to be Springsteen.
Yes.
It has to be Springsteen, it has to be loud, and preferably if it's at night and it's dark is even better. When I went to Lafayette College, Springsteen played at Alumni Gym several times, like $4 a ticket. And all my buddies are from the Jersey Shore. So I didn't know about him. And they tell me about this dude, Springsteen. So on Thursday afternoon after class on one of the quads there on South College, you would see all these big old speakers being pointed out the windows. And all the guys with their turntables would be blowing Springsteen out the windows. And it's hard to beat Springsteen loud. And it's really hard to beat Springsteen loud at night when you're driving.
Love it. Thank you so much, Joe.
Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it.
After this episode, I want to go go get my glove out of the lockers in my garage and smell it. I need to smell leather, and I need to smell dirt from a baseball field.
Of course. Thank you so much, Michelle. And a big thanks to everybody at AAA for keeping this podcast going.
And don't forget, AAA members can use the AAA mobile app to access their member benefits, including the ability to request roadside assistance.
Michelle, I'm really glad we got to go to the ballpark. It was awesome.
We have a lot more trips to take, so click on that free subscribe or follow button. That way you'll be in the passenger seat everywhere we go here in MotorLand.
MotorLand is executive produced by AAA Mountain West Group in cooperation with SoundNet Brands. Hello, Take Me Anywhere, written by Justin Sullivan, performed by Night Shop, by arrangement with Terror Bird Media. I'm Jared DeEnda. May the road rise to meet you and the wind be at your back. We'll see you again soon in MotorLand.